also the growing controversy over the revelation this week that the FBI has received clearance from federal aviation officials in at least 4 instances since 2010 to use drones in various government surveillance cases. Charles, what do you make of that?
Well, if that is true, then it's an average of 1 a year, so it should be stopped early, and it obviously would be extremely rare. I'm against the use of drones internally for law enforcement with 2 exceptions. One would be a natural disaster, the fires in Colorado, for example. It's not even an issue of privacy. Or for a very specific crime, a very specific example, which we heard of, for example, the kidnapping of the 5-year-old girl, I believe in Arkansas, where they apparently had a drone, and where you get a court order and a warrant, obviously, so it would be very, very strict. But
in that case, for instance, where there's a hostage situation, you want to get a sense of what's going on, what this fella has, what kind of, and you're in a siege, doesn't a drone make sense there?
It does, but you don't have a lot of those every year. That's once a year, that would be okay. But what I think has to be made clear, at the beginning of the entire era of drones, we should never have it up there like a stationary camera in the streets of London, except it's a camera on a really high pole, which is operating all the time and having a view all the time of public spaces, or obviously private spaces, that law enforcement is looking at. I think we ought to make the rules early. Congress ought to be doing that, and to be extremely strict in completely outlawing that.
We have about 30 seconds left. Rich, the appointment today of former Bush administration Justice Department official Jim Comey as FBI director. Good appointment?
Well, they clearly wanted to have someone they can say is a Republican to try to establish some more credibility and trust. On the drones, I'm afraid to say I think Charles is just a Luddite. They're an inevitable tool of law enforcement. We have law enforcement handles all sorts of dangerous things now, including guns, helicopters, and SWAT teams. And it's all about the protocols you establish for using them. But they will be used.
I just have to say,
helicopters are loud. You can hear them coming. That's the difference.
I just want to say we have a rule here. We never call Charles a Luddite. It really ticks him off.